Surprise! Welcome back to another episode of Stay on Target. I'm your host, Dustin. Thanks for tuning in with us tonight. We got a great show planned for you guys. Lots to discuss. Man, the news has been dropping like bombs in the Star Wars universe right now. It's crazy. So let's get into it. Kylo goes bye-bye again. George Lucas says bye again. And Star Wars spending is at an all-time high again? With all of that ridiculous news, let's roll into the rundown. We got question of the week, Holonet news, including Adam Driver was working on Ben Solo, Kylo Ren moving. It got turned down by Bob Iger. No more Hunt for Ben Solo. Then we also got George Lucas is done with Star Wars again. He's talking about it. It's interesting. Almost more there with the museum. We'll talk more about that. And then the Star Wars budgets are getting out of hand. I know this news was dropped more last week, but it was kind of after we had already set up the show and everything. So we're going to get to it this week. There's a lot to talk about. A lot. Speaking of getting out of hand, or should I say, pinchers, it's Lobster Pilot Dan. What's up, Lobster Pilot Dan?
Not much. No pinchers tonight, but I'm repping my Star Wars sweatshirt.
Oh, yeah.
And, so it's
fan-made.
I fan-made, that's right. The Roll twins and their family business. So it's time to stay on target, people.
Heck yeah.
I feel like I'm already off target, but I'm excited to be here and talking about all the crazy news that dropped.
Definitely. And last but not least, we got the uncancelable fact checker. What is up, fact checker?
That's right, because I have spoken.
You have spoken. Although it's not your birthday this week, so...
It doesn't matter. That tagline will live in infamy.
It will.
Did you know that doesn't mean what you think it means?
Just watch out for mutes after that.
No, I figured it out.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I've been working.
Yeah. No, you're good. What'd you say? Did I?
In infamy does not mean what you think it means.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, infamous actually means it's not good. Like you're being remembered for something not good.
Did you know that?
I feel like I've heard of it, but I forget. Yeah.
I didn't, and I made a big speech in front of my team, and I said, "This day will live
in infamy."
And I specifically said that, and one of the moms was like, "I don't think that's what. They actually
she
texted
pushed up
me.
her glasses.
They actually texted me what it meant, like the definition.
Wow.
And I was like, because one of the boys was like, "What does that mean, Coach Dan? Never heard that word."
Yeah.
Oh,
and I was like, like famous forever. Infamous. That's
a pretty good Trump impersonation, right?
He's like kind of like infinity and famous together. That's what he said. I'm like, yeah, that's it. Now I know it's not, but we're gonna go with it.
People have used it so synonymously for so long.
Yeah.
I think that's why people don't understand that infamous actually means being famous for a not so great reason.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it's
now you know.
Now you know. But
it's like you just basically pulled like a Sesame Street where we learned about a word in the first
5 seconds.
seconds of the show.
Well, we're so early because we didn't do a countdown, but maybe we're late. So I don't know.
I think this segment's going to go down as infamous.
I think it just might be the most infamous segment. I have a feeling we'll see this again, folks.
Yes.
Hi in the future.
Hi in the future. It's us. Thanks for watching this short. Shoot.
You set us up.
Oh man, when you go wide, I feel so alone.
Look at Dustin. Just in the vastness of space.
But with the Millennium Falcon.
But you have the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, that's true.
You're never alone with
I'm never alone.
And the Mando helmet above you.
Yeah.
It feels like a legit speakers, like a news desk type setup we got going on.
Today at 6 o'clock.
Hey, 6 o'clock, Star Wars, Holonet News.
What, do you want me at the stinger?
No, we're good. Well, who's with us tonight, fact checker? That's how it's going to go next.
Yeah, we got some fun people hanging out.
Some infamous people.
Infamous.
No, I wasn't saying that.
Infunmus.
Yeah, we'll change it. Infunmus.
Infunmus.
Wait, does that mean they're not
that
fun?
means they're not fun then.
It probably does.
Oh, shoot. We're ruining all this.
Wow. Just let me introduce them.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, Tamerkins did just say, poor Dustin, he's floating out there.
That's okay.
But yeah, so Tamerkins is hanging out earlier. She said she's excited to for the show and to hear all the rants that are sure to come. She had her popcorn ready and everything.
Oh, good. There's going to
go.
Discussions at the very least, and probably rants at some point. Yes.
I mean, you've already ranted about
Infamous.
a random word.
This stream will go down in infamy.
This is very true, and that's exactly what we mean.
Yes, for sure. But yeah, we've also had Descendants, John McCarter.
What's
hanging
up?
out.
Thanks
What's
for
up?
joining.
Bismo was in the stream earlier today, so I don't
What's
know
up,
if he'll be
Biz?
back. But we also have Skylark hanging out. She
Skylark.
said Ben is best, which agreed.
Oh yeah,
Because of the
the
pre-show poll.
Pre-show poll.
is going.
That's right.
And then we have a super chat and
What?
some interesting comments.
Oh my goodness! Super chat from Hunter Davis. Oh,
Whoa.
he is a legend.
Thank you, Hunter.
Thank you so much, Hunter. He said cash, money.
That sounds controversial.
It sounds
It
infamous.
sounds infamous.
We're gonna overuse that word for the rest of the night. So buckle up,
Buckle
people.
up, Buttercup.
Butter. Oh, that would have been better. Dang it.
What did he say? Something else along with that?
Yeah. What did we miss? Oh, sorry.
Along with the poll, he said the only Ben Solo I like is dead Ben Solo. Poll needs fixed.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Hot take Hunter
That's
coming up. He
brutal.
is slapping tonight,
He
people.
is slapping.
Slapping the bills and then slapping your brain.
Whoa.
Brain.
Yeah, well said.
That didn't slap.
Yeah, it works. Just add some music.
Just add some music. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll add it. It'll be short.
Yeah, it'll be short. Everything's
exactly,
short now.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I don't disagree with you, Hunter. I think we're going to get into it, but
That's the interesting thing.
I don't know. Maybe I do disagree with you, but hey, it's a free country.
He does, but he doesn't. We'll find
I
out
gotta
later.
actually read what you said first, and then I'll decide.
Stay tuned.
But we're still best buds.
Aw.
We're all best buds.
Oh,
That's
wait.
right.
Are we? Oh, never mind.
What? We're good?
We're
I think
live.
so.
Okay, good.
We're
It's a
live.
live
Okay,
stream.
good.
You never know what's going to happen. Nope, but we got lots to get into, so let's get into things. But before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your frenemies about us. Because with all of us together, we can make Star Wars butter. And by butter, we mean better, if you're new here.
Much butter.
Yeah, we want to make Star Wars better. That's the whole point of this channel and this show. So that's why we criticize where it's due. Constructive criticism is what we try to do. And we also call it when it's good. So when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. You got to call it. Otherwise, they won't know what to go off of and to make Star Wars better. And with all of your voices and our voices together, we will cry out in the vastness of Star Wars space.
Like that.
Butter!
How's the weather over there?
Pretty good. Feels good. Good temperature in here.
You should. I thought you were going to run the cord to where it looked like the fact checker was charging.
yeah.
I was going to, but I didn't
Aw.
like it. It actually kind of
Okay.
bugged me.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm the force.
Yeah, I couldn't have the fact checker powering my computer.
Oh my goodness.
She's already powering the show.
That's true. She's our sponsor for tonight.
She's-
Fact
Oh,
checker.
that's
Wow.
Thank you,
Oh.
fact checker.
Okay,
Where
donation incoming.
we need to start like an app. It's called the fact checker, and if people need like facts,
They just
Checked.
write her personally. And
they just
ask
Wow.
send you like it sends it to you.
And I just send out daily facts.
Yeah, so
Why
people
not?
just ask for facts, and you just
fact
give them
check
the actual
GPT.
fact checker babies.
I have one.
It probably
then
would
for
be.
you.
It'd be AI, and it would look like that.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
What is one of the facts you have for us?
Well, it is always recommended and safer to use a forklift bucket when hoisting people into the air.
That is true.
It is.
That is a fact.
Okay.
She speaks from experience. It
I
sounds
do.
like.
I do.
It sounds like a fact I've never heard before. But speaking of facts, you want me to
Well,
get into your thing? Yeah.
I have another fact. Fun
Uh-oh,
fact
he's
for
got
you.
a double fact.
Fun fact is next week, October 29th, we are going to be having on a new guest that we've never had on the show. We are very excited to have him on. His name is Jar Jar Jargon. If you haven't heard of him, he's got a great channel out there. Done some Heir to the Empire stuff. Done some really cool animations. Got some great points. We've talked about some of his great takes here, and he was kind enough to come on the show. Accept our invitation onto the show. So we're very excited. We'll be having Jar Jar Jargon on the show next Wednesday, October 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely come back for that. We can't wait to pick his brain, all things Star Wars. And he's also going to have some new stuff coming out for you guys as well. So we're excited to talk about that.
Very excited.
Yes. So I just wanted to drop that right now.
Misa, very excited.
Misa, I know. It's going to be really hard not to talk like Jar Jar most of the time.
It's okay. It's okay, I think. We'll have to ask him.
Well, we even tried to limit the amount of Star Wars questions we asked him because we have a terrible habit of talking all about Star Wars before we actually
the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Before we record or go live.
Yeah.
Then it's all like second hat. We've already discussed most of it. So we really tried to pump the brakes on that so you guys could get the full raw experience with all of us. So we're excited for that. So we can't wait.
See you next week, Jar Jar, and all you people.
All you people. Yeah. But
we do have a quick question.
Yes.
And
Fact
maybe you can circle back to it later if you want, but Tamerkins asked, I finished the Heir to the Empire books and I was super impressed. Loved them. What should I read next since I liked those?
Dude, that is great. I'm glad you like those. That's awesome. That makes me happy. Honestly, that should be what the channel should be about in some ways. That's what this channel's been about. My part of the channel is read Heir to the Empire and let's get Heir to the Empire made. That should have been the perfect sequel. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope it was as satisfying for you that it was for me and lived up to the hype, which I'm interested in. Maybe we'll talk more about it a little bit in the members only stream with Tamerkins as well.
Oh, nice.
But future ones, if you haven't read Kenobi, I recommend the Kenobi by I forget the name of the author.
I can look it up.
It's Legends technically, but it's a way better version of what the Kenobi show should have been. It's a little different in some aspects, but it's really good. It's really good. I really like that. Otherwise, these are book recommendations just right off the cuff. Kenobi. And then I'd say there is the duology of Heir to the Empire that comes after that. It's like the Hand of Thrawn or something like that, which is decent. I didn't love it as much. It kind of, I don't know, it wasn't as good. But then you also have the Bane trilogy. Bane trilogy is going to be great. It's dark, so just be prepared to be sad or go into the darkness there. But it is a great trilogy. Those are a few recommendations right there. There are many more where that came from. And next week, Jar Jar will have some as well because he likes the EU as well. So. Cool. Great.
I just like how EU sounds like ew.
Ew. Do you think they did that on purpose?
Yeah, probably.
Wait, no, George did that though. Technically, they made it sound better with Legends.
That's true. So wait, George did EU?
Yeah, George. It was called the Star Wars Expanded Universe, and then it just got shortened to EU.
It got shortened to EU. Okay, because
So.
that sounds like something. I'm like an AI, but I just say like A or I. I don't know. I'm really basic, but I'm basically just stalling because there's something else we got to get
There
to
is.
now.
I am ready to announce it. It's another surprise. We have lots of surprises for you guys tonight. There's a lot of good things happening here. There's some news that dropped today, and I don't think there's anyone better that can talk about it than our friend Bismo. Bismo's on the show. What's up, Bismo?
Surprise! He has muted himself. Can Bismo unmute himself?
Good timing.
Uh-oh.
He's still muted.
He's still muted. We'll get it. Don't
He's
you worry. It's a
coming in
live
hot.
show.
We're still
Is
here.
it us?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, no.
In the app, maybe. In the thing, it just says, guest has muted himself.
It says guest has muted himself. Okay.
Oh, no.
So we'll figure
It's
it
not
out,
him.
bro.
He's saying it's not him.
He's there. He's just miming.
You can see
He's
him.
miming. Look at this.
Do your sign language that you've learned for us. Give all of your...
Are you excited about the news,
This
Bismo?
is like torture. He, wants to share. We want to hear, but can't.
This
Oh
is
my
exciting.
goodness.
This is thrilling, actually. Let me see here. Hold on. I think it's coming in.
Is it coming in?
No, it's still not in. Go ahead. Try again, Bismo.
Try again.
It just says that he has muted himself right about when you went live here, but
He could jump out and jump back in. Maybe.
Yeah,
he may have to.
We'll
but,
try that. It's a live show. We'll keep
very
talking.
interesting. Yep, here we go. We're gonna come back. So
We're gonna come back.
that was a sneak peek.
Sneak peek, guys. Bismo's going to be on the show tonight. Surprise number. What are we at? It's like 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, how about that? We have a mime.
We have a mime.
Love
Yes.
it. Well,
That's
it's super
right.
sweet.
We love the mime.
Charades with Bismo.
Yes.
That's awesome.
New segment.
Yeah.
There he
Charades
is.
with
There he
Bismo.
The charade is
Wow.
over.
I think there's some censorship going on right now by Papa Pelps himself. No,
Oh, no.
I think you're
Hey,
right.
but hey, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. We're excited to have you.
Yeah, excited.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of great.
it's been a little bit. Thanks for the last minute request of me invading and whatnot. But yeah,
No, you are always welcome on the
this is
show.
great.
And you actually have some news for us, which I think you'll probably be able to, we'll have a fun time discussing it, of course. But even before we do that, just thank you so much for coming on the show. I will say, everybody, if you are new to this channel, definitely head on over to Bismo's channel and like, comment, subscribe, tell him that we sent you. He has got awesome content over there. Great friend of the channel. Has been a friend for a long time, since the beginning, really.
Mhm.
And so definitely go and do that. I got to get that plug in right off the bat. So thank you, Bismo, for coming on the show. And I know you're going to have some great thoughts on everything that's going on in Star Wars. It's just crazy, man. How are you feeling about it?
My world has been turned upside down, is what I would say. Everything
Really?
that I've known is changed. It's all it's the plots, they keep revealing themselves. But yeah, anyhow, before we get into that, I'm sure I don't even know the rundown for the show, so I'm just along down for the ride. So bear
Yep.
with me.
Neither do I, Bismo. So we're in it together.
I like you to keep it a surprise. Surprise number 4. Nobody knows the rundown but me.
I know because I'm plugged in.
Oh, yeah, you're
That's
plugged
right.
in. Yeah,
Yeah,
fact checker
no,
always knows.
thanks for humoring me though, and allowing me to come on with such short notice. And excited to see your new guest next week. I mean, that's amazing. That's going to be a fun interview. Curious what you guys will chat about and what Jar Jargon will have to say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, a lot going on right
It
now.
is. Yeah. So thank you for coming on. We're going to jump into question of the week. This is a perfect time to jump into it.
Oh, yeah.
So let's jump right into question of the week. Sorry.
Speak, Bocce.
Of course I can, sir. It's like a second language to me. I'm a
All right,
spirit.
shut up. I'll take this.
Shut up, sir.
Luke!
Question of the week is, do you think Disney Star Wars should have made the Hunt for Ben Solo movie? Starting out the gate hot, people.
Wow.
We're going to jump right into it. We have to jump right into it. So this kind of goes with our first Holonet news topic. But now that you guys have had a little bit of time to think about it, let's let's start with our guest. As long as you're ready here,
I'm
Bismo.
ready.
You ready? What do you think, man? I want to get your take.
I mean, I already vocalized it in a post, but of course they should have made it. I mean, you're telling me we got the 3 sequel movies that we got, which, let's be real, like, okay, maybe The Force Awakens is okay, but it's just a copy of A New Hope. And then the other 2 movies are just not that good, quite frankly. But one of the smaller, I guess, and this is in my opinion, I guess I'll say, but Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, was one of the better characters, if not the best character from the trilogy, that actually had character development and a cool story and whatnot. So yeah, if you're gonna spend any time making content in that era, it should have been that. And especially now, it sounds like, there's going to be a new Jedi Order movie that will have Rey in it at some point. And how is it that we're doing that and not a movie for a fan favorite character like Ben Solo? And now it's not even looking like Adam Driver. He might not ever reprise his role as Kylo Ren. So that's sad in itself. But yeah, I think they should have made it because, quite frankly, it's the best option. If they're going to do that era, how could they not do the best part of that era? But I said it. I'm curious what you guys want to say.
Heck yeah, man. That's a hot take. I like it. What about you, fact checker? How are you feeling on this one? We'll jump to Dan.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, no, jump to Dan.
Well, I think that Ben Solo was actually my favorite character in the new trilogy
Boom.
for about 60 seconds until he didn't make it anymore.
Right?
So this is the weird part. I'm like, why you got to do this to me? Like, you just like do a 180 on me, and like he's the coolest character for like 5 minutes. I'm like, oh man, he's like embodying Han Solo. He's reminding me of like young Luke. He just has that charisma as Ben Solo for about 10 seconds. And then it felt very short. And then, then boom, then he's not there. So to give me the hunt for Ben Solo, actually, yeah, I would be very excited about that. So I think they should have made it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Hot take. Wow, that's 2. 2 for the hunt for Ben Solo. Fact checker, are you ready now?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I was chewing. But yes, I also agree. I would have loved to see a movie on more on him because he did a great job. Adam Driver's an awesome actor. He's not bad looking. And
Oh, Ben
Oh.
Schwartz,
Oh,
shirtless.
No.
There it is.
Of course.
Boom.
Gosh,
Happy birthday.
yeah, I had to throw it in there for you guys. but yeah, no, I think it's an interesting concept that I don't understand why they shut it down so quick.
Yeah.
It's lame.
Lame.
Okay, wow. So we got 3 yeses so far here
Mhm.
Yeah.
for this. And
What are you? Are you opposite side? Are you dark side?
I agree with all of you really
Oh, sure.
that it could be the coolest part of the sequel trilogy. I agree that Ben Solo was my favorite part actually.
Yeah.
Honestly, he had that charisma. He felt like the reason they hired him for Ben Solo was because he actually has the Han Solo vibe to him, but the whole entire trilogy, he had to not play that side and do the dark side. So whenever he finally came to the light, it felt natural. It felt good. If you wanted to cheer for him, you were right there with him, and that was literally the best part in some ways.
Wasn't it?
So
Yeah.
that's why it's tough for me because just Disney Star Wars and the sequels, I don't necessarily want to keep watching sequel trilogy stuff.
Mhm.
So part of me says, no, I don't want to see this because it still just leans into the fact that the sequels are a real thing. But on the other side, Ben Solo was my favorite character whenever they finally showed Ben Solo. So I'm torn. I'm like right in the middle. I'd be fine if they made it, especially knowing that Steven Soderbergh was the one that was working on it. I think that had a lot of promise to it. And also that Adam Driver was excited, and he said he would only come back if it was a good script and a good director. So it sounded like he was excited for the film, which I think that would be really good. But it is tough to wrap our minds around in some ways the trope of nobody is ever really gone.
Yeah, that's true.
That's one of the only other negative things to it, and why I can understand in some ways why they nixed it, because they just keep bringing people back from the dead. The biggest problem is they just shouldn't have killed him in the first
Yeah,
place.
absolutely.
And that's the thing. In my personal opinion, I think it was one of the cheesiest moments.
Rush decision.
Yeah.
Well, that's
me,
right.
so.
Like, it's super rushed, and how he even ends up passing, it's like I don't even know if I believe that he's passed though. That's my counterpoint of like, well, you're telling me he force healed and then he's dead? Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I know. So I know, and that's
Just retcon something. I mean, that whole movie is a bunch of attempt at fan service that's not really done well, obviously, and it's just a mess of a movie as is. And just where Star Wars is at now. Also, if you guys didn't see maybe you guys were going to say it at some point, but this official Star Wars channel today posted a highlight of Kylo Ren and Rey. I mean, they're listening, because this is making waves on social media. They literally just posted this today. It's almost as if they're testing the waters.
I think they are.
And it sounds like there's some kind of outside pressure on higher ups right now that they're doing that. Like, there's no way that's not a coincidence that they just put a highlight of the Rise of Skywalker with Ben Solo fighting with Rey. Like, really?
Yeah. Was this coordinated in some ways, or is it reactionary? Are they just trying to capitalize?
I think it's reactionary. I think they're
not
gauging,
coordinated. That would make sense.
Testing the waters. Because quite frankly, I don't think they don't know what they're doing. Let's be real. How many movies have they announced that haven't made it to the finish line? And now we'll talk about it later. We've got big scoops for you guys. How many different projects that were never announced that were pitched and were canned? I mean, the list just keeps going. Why can't they just do it now? Like, what they could still shift to that. It's not too late. It's not too late to give
true.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people are speculating online, that maybe Adam Driver, them throwing it out right now is kind of like a Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds. Oh, it leaked. The footage leaked of Deadpool, and then how that leak turned into a super popular video online that the fan reaction was like, you have to make this.
Yeah.
Basically pressured the studio into making this. Yeah. I could see them trying to do that with this film.
Yeah.
And I did want to say one other thing. I think with it being made, I think that this would be a better path forward for the Star Wars brand instead of Rey.
Yeah.
I think you would get a lot more people on board if you did this right with Kylo and we followed his journey because he's still technically a Skywalker. I mean, a Solo,
Yeah.
but still actually a Skywalker. So if he were to come back and be alive again and be able to continue on that lineage, I think it would be a lot more successful than trying to force a Rey movie or put her in it as much.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just crazy. But with all that news, yeah, do you guys think it's to put pressure on? So I guess we should probably just say the news though real fast.
Yeah, let's get into the news because I don't know all the news.
Yeah,
either.
let's jump into Holonet news, baby.
Everything's under control. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
And chat, yeah, sorry, we'll try to get your answers as well, but we got a lot to talk about tonight, so we're gonna try and keep things rolling. But if you see anything, anybody has any great takes, let us know.
Yeah.
So the news that dropped just recently is that Adam Driver was talking. I forget who he was talking to, but anyway, he was being interviewed.
Associated Press.
Yeah, thank you. And he was discussing a movie that he was potentially being made for 2 years. I was blown away by this news just for the fact that I didn't think Adam Driver, from all the things I had heard, it made it sound like Adam Driver wanted nothing to do with Star Wars again. Like I feel like we all kept hearing that for a long time.
Yeah.
And then just this to drop, like it feels like out of the blue that no, he was actually working on a film, a Kylo Ren or the Hunt for Ben Solo film for 2 years, was it? With Steven Soderbergh. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I'm doing my best. So it's just crazy that this came about. And so that's the news that dropped. And the crazy thing about it in some ways is that he said that it's done, and that's why he's talking about it. Yeah, so I'll try to get the actual quote here. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly.
Is this I've got this article here. Is this the one you were talking about?
Yeah, it should be.
Jarmusch, Star Wars and
here it is. Yeah, there's a Star Wars near miss. You go down just a little bit more there, Dan.
Yeah.
I think down a little bit more. Yeah, it says here, I always was interested in doing another Star Wars, says Driver, who starred as Kylo Ren in the trilogy kicked off by The Force Awakens. I had been talking about doing another one since 2021. News to me. Kathleen Kennedy had reached out. I always said, with a great director and a great story, I'd be there in a second. I loved that character and loved playing him. So Driver says he took a concept to Soderbergh for a film that would take place after 2019's The Rise of Skywalker. That movie culminated in Ren's redemption and apparent death. Driver had undertaken the trilogy with an arc in mind for Ren that inverted the journey of Darth Vader. As the trilogy evolved, it didn't play out that way. Driver felt that there was unfinished business for Kylo Ren, or as he was known before turning to the dark side, Ben Solo. So I think he goes on here. Sorry, I don't want to cover all that. Oh, here we go. We presented the script to Lucasfilm. They loved the idea. They totally understood our angle and why we were doing it, Driver says. We took it to Bob we took it to Bob Iger and Alan Bergman. That's the crazy part. I do want to highlight this. We took it to Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, previously stating that that Lucasfilm was on board. And they said no. So both of them, Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, said no. They didn't see how Ben Solo was alive, and that was that. And he said it was called The Hunt for Ben Solo, and it was really cool at Driver, but it is no more, so I can finally talk about it. Oh my!
Wow.
And Soderbergh even said in a statement, "I really enjoyed making the movie in my head. I'm just sorry the fans won't get to see it." Man, insult to injury right there.
And then it says representatives for Disney and Lucas declined comment. Really?
Boom.
That's a shocker.
Right? Yeah, so this is crazy news for multiple reasons. I'm just going to highlight a few. The first reason is, who knew that he was actively working on a film? I didn't think Adam Driver wanted to come back to Star Wars, but apparently he did. Crazy enough. The second bit is that it's done and that it was canceled by, and he names them specifically, Bob Iger and I forget the other guy's name, and Alan Bergman. Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, which is crazy. So making it sound like Lucasfilm was on board, which would be KK, which is some news that we're going to get into here shortly. Bismo's chomping at the bit. And so it's crazy there that he named them specifically, canceling the movie.
Yep.
And just it does sound like a cool film whenever he brings it up. It's kind of a reverse Darth Vader, which is interesting to me,
Yeah.
and how he's redeemed. And with Soderbergh involved, it's just crazy. So there's a lot going on there. Bismo, I know you're ready to rock. What do you think about all this, man? This is the news, and there's even more that's coming, and I'm gonna let you run with that, but we'll talk about this for now, and we can tie it in, obviously.
Let's focus on this story for now, because it's big in itself. But make it to be clear, Adam Driver certainly broke some type of NDA to say this. Like,
thank you.
Definitely, he definitely broke an NDA to say this, and that's pretty big. Like, he put himself on the line to some extent, and he directly names Bob Iger. That is not with that. Like, that has opened an entirely different can of worms that we are going to be getting into for sure. But yeah, it's just frustrating, because it sounded like all of Lucasfilm was aligned on something that more or less most people are pretty positive on. I mean, here, I mean, we're a bit of a mixed crowd, but I'd say we're generally positive about an idea like that, at least as far as sequels content goes. That's about as good as it really could get. And to see it canned like that, I guess, yeah, you can, at a low level, it's like, okay, yeah, Ben Solo died, but like, how many characters have died in Star Wars and came back to life? And even it stems back, like Disney Star Wars, sure, there's been some inconsistencies as far as stabs, that people come back to life, but even, dating back to George Lucas Star Wars, I mean, Maul was chopped in half, and he's just like, let's bring him back. At the end of the day, it's Star Wars. People want to see cool, good characters and good stories. With how kind of lame his ending was at the end of the already very lame Rise of Skywalker, it's not that far-fetched an idea to somehow bring him back, or to say he never actually died or something like that. So yeah, that's my initial thoughts. What do you guys think, though?
Yeah, and thank you for bringing up the NDA. I knew I had one more thing, but I forgot. So thank you for bringing up that. It does seem like he definitely broke one of the NDAs. We were talking about it a little bit before. It depends on the contract, I guess, and the format it was written for the NDA. Because I was almost speculating, what if since it was canceled, or at least they say it's canceled, is this canceled? Is this
shelved?
Is it actually shelved, or not shelved?
I don't. That's that I'm not sold on. I'm not sold on this is, it's done. No, this sounds like a Adam Driver, like he actually really wanted to do this. It sounded like he's always wanted to do this, cancel or not. This seems like a last ditch potential effort for him to maybe start something up. And like we saw today at the main Star Wars YouTube channel, they posted Ben Solo content, and that cannot be a coincidence. That absolutely cannot be a coincidence. And yeah, I mean, it was I mean, Steven Soderbergh, I mean, is a great director, and they're vouching for a script. It sounds good from what they're saying. Like, this had all the makings of a potentially a good movie. I mean, obviously we can't go that far with it. I mean, it doesn't exist per se, but the idea was there, and they put a lot of work on it. And everybody at Lucasfilm, including Kathleen Kennedy, supported this, supposedly. And for him to name somebody as powerful as Bob Iger and directly tell the world that he said no, that opens the can of worms to some other potential rumors that we can get into in a little bit. That I don't know how much we want to get into, but I do trust a lot of these sources. It's the tip of the iceberg, is what I would say.
Yeah, I think we'll have some good discussion with it as well. We'll get into that in just a minute here. I did want to get fact checker's take on this as well. Adam Driver dropping this. What do you think about this news, fact checker?
A lot of thoughts. I mean, in so many ways it makes sense, because Kylo Ren is a huge entity or brand itself, in all the theme parks, the Star Wars areas. Why are you laughing? Oh, okay. And
my line of sight is looking at right at Dan and then the fact checker. So,
so yeah, in the theme parks, he's a main feature in the Galaxy's Edge and stuff. Yeah, as far as like Star Wars villains, a lot of times they picture Darth Vader and Kylo Ren. So he's super well known, and people, I think, would absolutely buy into more of his story, more so than maybe Rey, as you already said. But then also I saw that Oscar Isaac mentioned recently that they had him read, different storylines, or read as like maybe being a love interest for Rey.
For Rey, yeah.
Or or they just had like different kind of plot lines that they had him read for because they didn't know where the story was going to go. I'm like, once again, it just proves that they didn't know what they were doing. And so to now hear Adam Driver confirm that for the 1,000th time that they didn't know what they were doing is just such a shame.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't have billions of dollars on the line, and everybody's like fandoms in my fingertips.
Right. It would be a difficult, to your point there, it is a difficult decision to greenlight a lot of these things. And that's the only, let's get your take on it and then I'll talk about it a little bit.
I mean, I'm just thinking along the same lines as Fact Checker and you guys, the fact that I was like, when he said the name Bob Iger, I was like, are we allowed to do that? Are we allowed to talk about it right now? Are we going to get shut down?
Did we sign an NDA?
It's kind of scary.
We can say whatever we want.
It's
very
true.
Powerful. He is powerful.
To call somebody out like that, people are calling him Palpatine and stuff. I don't know, but like Sidious, no.
The true Phantom Menace, I think KG said.
The true Phantom Menace. He pretty much put KK up against, Bob Iger, saying that she agreed, but he didn't. So it sounds to me like, he's trying to split things and get his way, because, hey, the film company that wants to make the film, including the actors, and they've got it all set, ready to go. But obviously the corporate side of it, like what usually happens, steps on it, and there it goes like a bug.
Yeah, and I will play a little bit, give a little bit of pushback in some ways to his point, Dan. You were saying, billions of dollars at risk here with a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
We did see the financials, which we're going to go over a little bit later, for The Rise of Skywalker, and then for them to come to him with an idea potentially of resurrecting another character in Star Wars. I could see it because of the diminishing returns of the brand and how it had been handled up until that point, not knowing how involved Bob Iger is or was or whatever in the Star Wars brand, how involved the day-to-day stuff, which it just sounds like he's green-lighting things and knocking them down. Like ultimately it sounds like the decision's going to him, which is interesting in a lot of ways, which is what we're going to get into. But in some ways I can understand why he might be tentative to greenlight something like this for multiple reasons, and also for the financials situations, knowing that in the background and how much they had spent on Star Wars so far and how much they paid for it. Unfortunately, it might have come down to a business decision to be like, I don't know if it's not done better than the sequel trilogy, I don't know if we can make profit off this. Is this just going to be more of the same? Do we want to give it some more time type situation? I don't know. There's a lot of things, just a little bit of pushback.
Do we know, sorry, quick question. Do we know when this might have been proposed to Bob Iger?
Well, he said,
because I'm just curious, like the things they chose to greenlight possibly after this, how did those make the cut?
Right.
More so than this movie.
That's an interesting part. And that's what we're going to get into with Bismo though, too, from a lot of there's still rumors. Technically, we don't know if it's fact or not, but
wasn't it greenlit in like 2021? They started working on it. And they
he
finished
said,
in
I've been talking about another one since 2021.
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy had reached out. So it sounded like she reached out to him. I always said with a great director. So she might have pitched at least somewhat of an idea or asked him if he'd be interested in doing another one. And then he proposed the idea, the concept to Soderbergh. I'm not sure who originally, but he Driver says he took a concept to Soderbergh for a film that would take place after The Rise of Skywalker. So it is interesting, and then it got ultimately turned down, and I'm not sure the time frame of that for when it got turned down, but it's from 2021. I guess it would probably have to be in 2023 because he said he'd been working on it for like 2 years, unless it just recently happened. I don't know, but
sounds pretty recent.
Yeah. So
the KG had a comment that said, I don't think it would have worked too well a few years back, so close to the sequels coming out. But now that we just hit the 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens, more people would be ready.
I agree with that statement.
And
I do think we've had a little bit more time.
Yeah, she said more. They were focused completely on TV at that point. Movie theaters still weren't doing well because of post-pandemic.
Right. That's another good point. It still was tough during that time. 2021. There's so many elements that go into this, and that's why it's hard to have a black or white cut on this. Only Sith deals in absolutes, and that's it's difficult. There's a lot of gray area. Go ahead, Biz.
Okay, well, specifically on that movie topic, I think there's so many different rumors going out. I feel like the way we should do this is maybe talk about a couple of them at a time. But on the topic of movies versus shows, obviously that's been a discussion point for us creators as well these past few years of like, we want them back in the movie theater, or what should be a show and what should be a movie. Well, the first rumor I do want to drop when we're talking financials as well is the Kenobi. It's well known that Kenobi originally was supposed to be a movie, a standalone film like Boba Fett and whatnot. The
Mhm.
rumor going around is that Bob Iger was the one that ordered basically the chopping of Kenobi and making it into a show, and that was purely a financial decision at the time in this post-pandemic world where there's not a lot of box office. And can somebody remind me what the how much money was Kenobi given to work with?
It was not
the
very
show?
much.
I thought
wasn't-
it
It
was
was not
80
much.
80
million.
million for the whole thing. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that's
sure.
yeah, okay, yeah. So there's some weird finances
90
going on
million.
there.
90
then-
million?
Approximately.
Oh, approximately 90
Okay,
million. Fact
approximately
checker says.
89. Yeah. 90.
And then now we get into a world that's kind of we're far removed from the pandemic now. People are going back to the movie theater. We're starting to see films do well, like the Avatar: Way of Water, and some other films are starting to get back to pre-pandemic levels almost as far as it going. And then we're seeing, some of our shows. There's this show, it's got a Mandalorian in it, a little kind of, I think it's like a Baby Yoda in it. What show is that called again?
The on the nose Mandalorian and Grogu movie.
Yeah, so the Mandalorian Grogu movie. Okay, so now we're doing a full 180. So allegedly this other rumor is, and we talked about, we speculated, both our channel speculated, okay, what's going on with the Mandalorian season 4? Like
Yeah.
season 3 had a little bit of a fall off. What are they going to do for season 4? And then all of a sudden there's rumors coming out that season 4 is going to be made into a movie, and now the rumor is that Bob Iger has his hands in that too, and this movie is completely a Bob Iger movie just for the money, basically just for the money of like, okay, it's financially better now, so we're gonna forget all we did for Mandalorian. We're making a movie because we need to sell that merchandise, that Grogu merchandise, that Baby Yoda, and all that. So from
Right,
a financial standpoint, we go
did-
back to yeah.
Sorry, I just want to say we did speculate multiple ways that it felt like a business decision. Like this is our best IP. Let's put this in the movies and just blast the name because that's what everybody knows and that's the most merch we've sold. Yeah. So to your point, sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, that's so you can see his hands kind of all over this, and you start connecting the dots. And to kind of retrace back to the sequels, The Rise of Skywalker originally, for those that don't know, had 3 more months of filming to do and was cut short from a business financial decision, because at that point Bob Iger just wanted to be done with the sequels and just put out what they had. So you wonder why that movie was such a complete mess, and also maybe didn't do so well, which also is puzzling because it's like, man, maybe if you made the movie a little bit better, it could have potentially earned a little bit more money. Just a thought. But you start to, when you go back to like, every corporation wants to make money, and then you go to the highest ranking official. What is that person in charge of it? You start to see their hands in every little corner of the business.
Right. Yeah. And so all the things that you said, I just want to say that these are rumors that have come from the Den of Nerds. He just broke this. Was it yesterday? He just broke this?
This was yesterday, and he, for reference, he has ties to Hollywood. He has like people like inside, potentially people even in Lucasfilm. One thing that I can vouch for sure is a year before Ahsoka season 1 came out. Now, for reference, the source that he got this information that we're all talking about tonight, that has all these different rumors, he got this. This is the same source that predicted all of Ahsoka season 1, like to a T. Like the entirety of the entire plot of Ahsoka season 1, they knew a year before the show even came out. Like this is that same exact source. So like a very reliable source that
his
like
most
gets
trusted
stuff right.
source.
Yeah, his
Right.
most trusted source. So he's not. This isn't just like, oh, let's stir up the pot kind of day. And it just, this stuff came out because of the Adam Driver article that just came out, just opening a complete can of worms and open up this tip of the iceberg for people to be comfortable to kind of share. And now it's starting to look like Kathleen Kennedy, although maybe not innocent, let's say, of everything. maybe she was potentially used as a scapegoat from somebody with more power.
Yeah.
Right.
Whoa.
And that's the bomb. So we got the bomb from Adam Driver, and then more came out than the next couple days, basically, whenever the Den of Nerds dropped this from his source. Obviously, this source is an insider in some capacity. I'm not sure, but of course, it still is technically a rumor. We can't take it as fact.
Mhm.
Also, the only thing I will say is a little bit of pushback for this is it could be a friend of Kathleen Kennedy's and might want to put her in a positive light, potentially, if it is an insider. But yeah, it is starting. It does make you start to question a lot of things and why. Even going back to the beginning, Biz, and what I think Den of Nerds even said on his channel, he was talking about even going back to the beginning and what Bob Iger did immediately after buying the movie. So this is what gives it some credence for me as well. Is immediately after buying Star Wars and George Lucas, he immediately decides not to go down the path of what his treatments, George Lucas's treatments for 7, 8, 9. He throws them out, and he even says it in his own biography.
It's true.
And how George Lucas felt betrayed, and it wasn't KK that said that. It was Bob Iger who said that in his own biography.
Wow.
So there's evidence to show that possibly, really, I mean, that it might have been Bob this whole time.
It started to look like he might actually be the Dark Lord of the Sith. And I mean, think about it. Just think of Palpatine. He, on the surface level, like, very likable guy. Everybody likes him. You know, he's that charismatic senator from Naboo. You know, nothing could be wrong. He's it's all
Right.
good,
He was friends with George Lucas back in the day. George was willing to sell it to him because of what he did for him for the Indiana Jones
That's
show.
what I thought, that they were friends.
That they were
That's just
friends, but
baffling.
maybe it was a Palpatine friendship.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And Bob Iger was looking for how he can use that in the future. We will watch your career with great interest.
well, in that biography you mentioned too, Bob Iger, like he mentions how we had to buy his treatment for 789. Like how he phrased it too is like, we needed to buy it because he had no intention of being used and didn't want it to get out there. He didn't want it to get out there at the time. He didn't want people to see. And the other accusation, we're not like, this is a rumor for sure though, is that not only was Kathleen Kennedy like, she was completely on George Lucas's side, actually trying to defend George Lucas. So, allegedly, with the sequel trilogy, she apparently had wanted to use those scripts at least to some extent. And when they found out that they were going to be thrown out and they were going to go the direction that they did, allegedly, she wanted still to have Luke Skywalker in, as one of the primary characters with Rey, if they were going to do Rey, and never wanted to necessarily kill off the legacy characters, which is huge in and of itself.
Yeah.
But it's starting to sound like Iger never actually really liked George Lucas and just wanted the IP and to use the IP for money and didn't have the same vision. I mean, clearly we see that in with the content we see, it's not the same.
Well, and how we feel like so many decisions are business made decisions, I think also is why, it doesn't sound like a creative decision. It doesn't sound like a lot of these decisions were made from someone that had been at Lucasfilm for a long time that would prefer to see art and see art done well and then it make money off of the art instead of making purely business decisions on being like, well, this is George Lucas stuff. Now we want only Disney Star Wars stuff moving forward. We're not going to have any of those old characters. Get rid of them all. We're starting fresh and we're going to do better than George. Yeah, that's the arrogance there sounds like a CEO of Disney, to be honest. So there is a lot there. And let's hit some of can you run down through some of the decisions if you remember most of them? Bismo, there's a lot, and it's going back. We talked about the first one.
We can go. So the next thing, so as soon as Disney bought Lucasfilm, they wanted to cancel Clone Wars. Supposedly not very profitable, not a good thing. Iger, he wanted no part of Clone Wars whatsoever. And Dave Filoni, I mean, obviously he wanted to keep doing it, and so did Kathleen Kennedy supposedly. And the reason we even got the 12 episodes was in part due to Kathleen Kennedy, and Iger kind of reluctantly allowed it because it was kind of early in the partnership, so it was kind of a compromise of sorts. But it would have continued as it was, and I mean, some of the concepts had leaked of what that would have been in some of those lost episodes, but it would have been completely different, and there would have been more Clone Wars episodes. So as good as what we got, it could have even been better. There's a couple of other bigger projects teased as well that were supported by Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm and shot down by Bob Iger. I can name a couple here. Darth Bane, the series, something we all speculate and talk about.
Yeah.
Obviously they hear us. It's a fan. It's, that's a fan favorite character, very popular character.
Just mentioned
shot
it.
down. Yep. Shot down by Bob Iger. Yep. Knights of the Old Republic. That's another thing. Man, how often do we talk about the Old Republic and all that trilogy? I think at some point that was connected to that was the Game of Thrones. David B. Weiss.
Weiss and Lindelof.
Yeah, Weiss and Lindelof. They were supposed to make a trilogy that was in the works and was still going to be made. There's some other things there, but apparently Bob Iger shut that down too. I might need a minute to circle off, but maybe
There's
I don't
so
know.
much. I kind of remember a few as well. So yeah, the Clone Wars one, that was huge. That he didn't want to continue that at all. But it sounded
because it's George Lucas's baby. He doesn't like he doesn't like, that's another thing, an accusation
rumor,
too, is Bob Iger, he doesn't like the prequels, and he doesn't like George Lucas's vision of Star Wars. So he saw it, like you were saying, that it was an opportunity to, all right, let's get this prime IP and let's take our spin on it to just make more money. Well, how has that been working? How has that been working for you?
Right. And also what you said, he did discuss, he wanted like KK and then wanted Rey and Luke's relationship to be a positive relationship and for him to actually mentor her, but it was Bob Iger's idea to push Luke to have that negative interaction. I don't know how, like, some of this doesn't sound as believable, but at the same time, it makes you wonder. It does make you wonder why there were so many decisions made and so many things canceled, so many things up in the air. It could be, KK might have been working against the Overlord, the Palpatine himself, trying to make great stuff, but kept getting shot down or getting micromanaged. It sounds like a lot of micromanaging to me, personally.
I think she's made her fair share of mistakes.
Yeah,
that's with creatives.
Definitely. We'll come around to that.
She's got her level of micromanaging downhill that she's goofed, but then she has to still report to somebody else who's micromanaging her micromanaging.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, it's a big win for corporations. Good job. You did a good job deciding a creative vision in a boardroom.
Right.
Bunch of dingleberries.
For sure. And some of her how she handles PR too hasn't helped her and just made some of these situations worse, where it was easier for us to play into the full scapegoat thing. And there's definitely been things she said or decisions she's made that aren't good either. But I think it's kind of one of those situations where there's always two sides of the story with all these NDAs and the business. Like, Kathleen Kennedy can't just come out and just, speak how we're speaking, pretty openly and frank, just like anybody as part of a business. Like, you can't talk like how we're talking, as open as we are right now about
Unless she wants to quit her job that night.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It is definitely hard to believe that all of these rumors are true, but I think that some of them are. Like, where do I honestly believe? I think that some of them are. Like, they wouldn't just come out with that. And if Adam Driver, I mean, we already know that in a similar line of thought, Bob Iger shot down something that was cool, that Lucasfilm, and Kathleen Kennedy is the president of Lucasfilm. If Lucasfilm supports it, that means she supports it too. He shoots that down. That's already an example of what we're talking about right now, basically. And then there's been so much speculation in these past couple of years that we've been a part of, where, like, that whole Mandalorian Grogu thing, the Book of Boba Fett thing, where the during like the writer's strike and all this other stuff, we were like, what is going on with Star Wars? What are they even doing? Well, like I said, my whole world is completely upside down of what I had originally thought. I thought, it was KK micromanaging, but it's the Dark Lord. If we don't act quickly, the Jedi Order may not survive, is what I have to say.
Yeah.
Send Mace Windu. He'll take care of it.
Yeah, right. I heard somebody put a great take. Somebody said, maybe Bob Iger was Palpatine this whole time, and KK was just General Veers. You know, I mean that puts it in a little bit more perspective, and it's tough because she hasn't done the greatest, and you wonder how much she stepped in because of how much, you know, the decisions she was making and how she was running things. How much did he step in because of that? I don't know. But at the same time, it sounds like it's from the beginning.
Yeah, from the beginning. Oh,
yeah,
gosh,
so she had to kind of know what she was getting herself into in some ways.
Sounds like there's some kind of long-standing vendetta happening with Iger and I mean, big-time people. Like if you cross them, like they will do nothing but get you back. It doesn't matter if it takes their entire life.
Yeah,
it sounds like the purchase. Yeah, what do you got, Bismo?
Oh, sorry, I just am talking my mouth off here, but it's like they can't like. It's tough because he's at such a position of power that it's hard for them to directly kind of fight back. And he's got so many different connections. Like they're incentivized to, status quo and whatnot. But it's almost starting to look like some of the decisions we've seen with Dave Filoni and him getting kind of promoted and kind of being with Kathleen Kennedy. They've kind of let certain things kind of slide, or some of the decisions they do. But it almost seems like I can almost see how they maybe are working together more closely than you would have thought before, and agree on a lot of things, rather than maybe they're kind of constantly at one another. I don't know. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, that they've actually been at odds for most of this time, and I've heard rumors about that as well. That KK and Bob, but I always assumed that it was because KK was making poor decisions, and that Bob was trying to correct them. But now I'm not so sure about that. It sounds like a lot of it was his decisions. If these rumors are to be true, that's the other thing. Like I said, I don't know if somebody's running good PR for KK potentially, if they're friends. That's the only caveat. But I will say one other thing. He does have a history of scapegoats, Bob Iger. And I will bring up one other example. Bob Chapek was specifically a scapegoat for Bob Iger, because I believe that Iger knew the pandemic was coming, and he had already planned his step back from the company, because he stepped back. But
convenient.
But the thing about and it's really weird timing if you actually look into it. And then Bob Chapek became the head, the CEO. But it was like everybody at Disney knew that he wasn't actually the CEO. He was just the interim CEO, to the point that I think they didn't even take certain things out of his office that Bob Iger had in there, that Bob Iger still had access to everything. That it sounded like Chapek was just a figurehead for to be a fall guy, because Iger knew it was coming, stepped back, Chapek comes into power.
Yeah.
We go through those years that are really tough, and things are not looking good. He knew that everything was going to take a hit during that time. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Chapek's gone. And now Bob Iger's blaming Chapek for everything. He's like, "Oh, well, I'm coming in to save the day," is what it was they tried to make it sound like, if you were following a lot of this stuff back then.
Yeah.
Which is something that I was following. We were all following. We kind of covered a lot of this
because
back
the
in the
stock
day.
was going down.
Yeah.
And this, that, and the other.
Exactly. And it was a convenient scapegoat for Iger to have. So there is already precedence here for Iger to set up scapegoats to do his bidding, and then he can throw them right under the bus whenever things do not go his way, or if they don't go well. And I think people up at the top know that's the case. I think a lot of these people know Bob Iger and how he's been running things, but when you're Papa Palps, all you can do is a small rebellion, and if you're controlled by NDAs and legal things, and if he could ruin your career, I mean, basically, because he also owns the news.
Yeah.
He can send out the narrative to everybody.
Yeah, Disney is half the news.
It is.
So, places.
Not independent, thankfully, but still, they still pay off a lot, I'm sure.
Not stay on target.
Not us, because we're talking about it. Not Bismo. But so there is precedence there, to your points there, Bismo, and I just want to throw that out there, that this could be a real thing. It's tough for me to swallow in some ways, because Darth KK has been the bane of my existence in some ways, but it does make me think that there's a lot more gray area than we will ever see. I think that's the thing. It becomes too black and white, too absolutes. And I think it's going to fall somewhere in the middle a little bit more than what we're thinking. I still think KK probably made a lot of bad decisions, and that's possibly why they're at odds. But at the same time, it's sounding like Iger might have been the trigger for a lot of these bad decisions and a lot of why the company has gone the way that it's gone, which is crazy because he's a business guy. You think he would go with the customers, but if he has a longstanding vendetta against Lucas, against KK now, it's a weird situation filled with gray area and hubris and pride and agendas and what one man wants to accomplish. Papa Palp. So, yeah, I don't know. What's your take on this? Any more there, Biz?
Well, I agree with KG. The math be mathin', and what you're saying too with all this. I mean, it's like you're saying that example. That was a great example of that. I mean, it all starts to add up when we think about all these really questionable decisions or things we can't even wrap our heads around. Now, of course, there are caveats too about and we you guys mentioned this earlier as well, as far as the shows they did greenlight, and how could somebody like Bob Iger greenlight shows like The Acolyte or other shows as well. It doesn't even make sense to me. It makes me wonder, does it all come back to a financial decision? Like, does a show like The Acolyte be made for a tax write-off? Like, does he just use, like, is Disney so large that they use Star Wars and with like the diminishing returns and all that he has different plans for it, and to just however it benefits the company as far as whether they can write it off or just have it keep going? I don't know. It's my mind is still racing all the different possibilities.
Because even to that point, it's like, if you can't beat him, buy him. Is that his point in this? If you can't beat him, buy him, and then make it worse. So then his favorite IP that he always talks about, which is Marvel, he wants that one to be bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the only one he talks about. That's what Den of Nerds was talking about, even on his stream. He's like, why does Bob never talk about Star Wars? The only thing he says about it is just another IP. Like,
it just further supports the idea that he doesn't like George Lucas, and but it doesn't even make sense why why even buy the IP though?
Right.
Except to shut him down, because he was making too much money, he had too much leverage in the industry, that sort of thing. Just
legacy too.
Legacy, kick him out.
When you have it all, what does it come down to at the end of the day? Yeah,
legacy. You can control the narrative in that legacy. If he's out of the business, you can write off in sunset. Did George Lucas get $4 billion for Lucasfilm? Was that in Disney stock? Wasn't a lot of that in Disney stock?
Partial, yeah. A lot of it was actually in Disney stock.
So I don't know what that means, but interesting. My theory is like, so what about if KK? It sounds to me like Bob Iger was very influential when it came to the movies, like the films. Mm-hmm. Sounds to me like the only time he ever got involved with Lucasfilm was when a movie was in talks. So it could be that KK goofed on the show side of things because she greenlit a lot of these silly shows. Bob Iger had nothing to do with the shows, which is why some of them are hits and some of them are misses in the show section. You know what I mean? He's like, I don't really care. It's small potatoes. You guys do whatever you want with the shows. I don't care about Disney Plus, although it is Disney Plus.
Right.
But then I think the movies is where he's like, well, this is me. This is my legacy of the movie industry. It's bigger than TV, bigger than some streaming platform, because that's what he's known his whole life, is the movie industry. So
shows though too, because he was ABC is where he came from.
Yeah, so TV, he has an interest.
He does have a history in TV.
I just wonder if he didn't greenlight as much, have as many paws into the shows. Obi-Wan maybe because it was a film and he kicked it out of the movie into a show. But then maybe that explains why Andor is so good. It's not meddled with by him, or maybe explains why Acolyte is so bad because he didn't have meddling and KK took that one, because that was her baby, and I still think it was. But
I think it was Leslie Headlands, but Tom Merkins gives a good point too, that saying the Acolyte concept art shows that the final show was very different than the original pitch, though, and that's the thing, though. Like there, it seems like the common trend, though, with so many of these projects is there's so much micromanaging that, like, the show or the movie can never really be as cool as we want it to be. Like, why can't something be super fan servicey and I'm not even saying fan servicey, just like, why can't it have cool Force lore or like an insane lightsaber fight? How is the best choreography still in the prequels and not in anything per se. But yeah, the Acolyte was supposed to be much more dark and much more different. So it's like they picked out and chewed out certain things from that, but they still ultimately green lit and pushed that show out. So that part just doesn't make sense to me when they make those type of decisions. And yeah, like you're saying, that it doesn't. I don't see how Bob Iger could be that involved in something like a decision like that. But that's just one of the many things. Like if we're looking at where Star Wars is at right now, and like the actual, the brand damage or whatever else, like what has caused more brand damage? The Acolyte, which came out in 2024, or the sequel trilogy that killed off all the legacy characters and completely already chopped it up to bits.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, if you came out with the Acolyte though first, I think that would have done more damage than the sequel trilogy, to be honest.
But the thing with the Acolyte though is it doesn't have legacy characters outside of Yoda in it though. Like it doesn't even take place when anything's really going on per se. Like
it technically has Plagueis, and it also
Mundi. Yeah. I hear you. But
so you think Bob Iger then was?
Well, actually, no. This is a side. This is kind of a side note. Now you're saying you'd rather have the sequel trilogy as is. Like if you could, you have to pick one or the other, and that's what comes out. Like you would rather have the sequel trilogy than let's say Disney bought it and all they did was the Acolyte, or like as their first thing, and then they had to fix the pieces from there.
Ooh, I feel like worse? I mean, I just can't imagine them putting out the Acolyte as their first project. I mean, I think that would have tanked.
That would be crazy.
Things so much more because everybody. Well, for the fact that it's like lore breaking,
undermined the whole.
It would have undermined everything, dude. So
it's lore breaking, and I think it would do really bad. But I'm talking pure brand damage though. Like how much does They've went to Kenobi. They ruined the Kenobi show. They went to Boba Fett. They ruined Boba Fett. They killed off Luke. They killed off Han. They killed off Leia. They never even had a scene together. They already established all that. That's no longer a possibility. Like those things are no longer a possibility. Like they just chopped everything up. The only thing that and that's something that I kind of had wanted and vocalized in general, and why you'd want. I mean, well, maybe not. I mean, Knights of the Old Republic or Darth Bane, like that'd be cool. But just in general, maybe go away from the Skywalker era altogether and stop meddling. Like you're kicking him while he's already down at this point. When you get a rare gem like Andor season 2, though, like you see why you like Star Wars, and we don't have to leave the time frame altogether. But it just makes you wonder, though.
To your point, though, Acolyte, you could. If that came out first, at least it doesn't mess with your favorite heroes as much. I mean, it still messes up Anakin in a lot of ways, which I mean, the movies are about. So that's the problem there. But at the same time, you're right that at least it doesn't mess up Han, Luke, and Leia. So it might have been an easier pill to swallow for how bad it was, and maybe it would have come out a little differently.
Because
to your point, I see what you're saying there for the sequels and how much damage
it's kind of a side note discussion too. Like I'm just saying in general though, like the Acolyte is like where Star Wars was at when the Acolyte came out was a fraction of the influence that it was to begin with anyway though. Like if we're being real, like there was already so much brand damage by 2024. The Acolyte coming out doesn't really change a whole lot of where it was kind of already at.
Yeah, and that's why we kind of can just forget about it now.
Like it doesn't like
Whereas the sequels, it's a lot harder to get away from that for what they did and how they handled everybody's favorite characters. Growing up on it.
Movies, live forever.
Yeah. And movies, and it's also a movie. So movies, even in Disney and everything, the movies are the most canon out of Star Wars. And that's also part of the trouble of it versus shows. Shows are still canon technically, but even Dave has said multiple times, he's like, the movies are what's actual canon.
Well, like Kenobi, like you can't tell me that's like I don't think of that as canon. Like you can't tell me that is canon. Like I don't even believe that. Like
it's like some strange fan fiction.
It just looked like a fan film. Like if we're being honest, and a poor one at that. If we're also being real, but and also I will say I was when Acolyte was coming out, I was I was pretty fair, pretty optimistic, and I still will say that there was one episode of The Acolyte that I will still say I thought was good. So I'll throw it out there. I'm not gonna completely go back on my word, but overall, that show was a complete mistake, failure, flop, and did more brand damage. So okay, I got my Acolyte right
No,
now.
that's a totally fair take, man. Yeah, and we agree with you. That one episode was pretty good, honestly, for the fights and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
it was
brought
bold.
Yeah, we liked how some of the elements were bold, but yeah, overall, we agree with you. It's great take.
I haven't had a jaw drop like I did in that episode as I
Right.
had in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Until like maybe last time was like maybe when Baby Yoda showed up, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
because of
right.
what happened, and then
Well,
it
and
kind of
then-
the
yeah.
first part of that Acolyte episode where the fighting was happening. That's what I'm saying. It was just
Right.
like, wow.
Oh, they went there. They went dark.
Yep,
they
yep,
actually
yep.
went dark. Yeah, that was what was kind of crazy about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So I'll say this: with all this that we've discussed, I'm wondering if are these rumors believable to everybody out there? I want to get the chat's take. I want to get everybody's take here. Does this actually soften our opinion of KK? Is she not Darth KK anymore? These are some big questions, and I want to get everybody's take on this.
What's the poll though? Like, what are the options?
Did you already
I
do a
feel
poll
like-
for this fact checker?
Yeah, with the question of the week.
Oh yeah. Well, no. For does this soften KK's?
Yeah, I can do
Well,
that. I just have the poll
what
on
if-
right now.
Oh, you still have that poll. Okay, I see what you're saying. Sorry.
Could the poll be like, do you believe these rumors or
Yeah.
or something like that? Could it be like yes, some of them, or something like that, or no, or Darth KK? Like there's still just I don't know.
Yeah, that's good.
Whatever you want to do, but I'm curious what people think as far as the rumors. We're trying to math it together. Like, to be clear, nobody's out here saying that this is all
Real.
like real for sure. We're just connecting the dots and making observations. But what we do know is real is the Adam Driver and the Hunt for Ben Solo thing. Like, that's a verified example of what you're saying, and we're just stating what we've observed and what Dustin said with Bob Chapek and that scapegoat situation. Like, these are things that really happened for sure. Now, it comes back to this source again, fully basically spoiled Ahsoka season 1 to a T, and other shows as well.
What was their take on that? Sorry, I know you said that. I don't remember that as well, but like when they spoiled Ahsoka season 1, were they warning people that it wasn't going to be very good, or were they telling people it was going to be great?
Well, it was neither. It was just what a source does is just say what's going to happen. I think that at the time, I was excited, and I still think Ahsoka season 1 personally is more or less good, less good.
Yeah.
But no, it just as far like every little thing as far as like Captain Enoch, like there's going to be zombie troopers to like so many different
it's fantastical
things that were
stuff.
So many different things like a year out, just to give like I'm just saying of real things that happened. Like I heard that these things a year before Ahsoka came out, kind of rolled my eyes about like some of these things, and then it turned out they called every single one to a T. So I'm just saying the same source that got everything right called everything for just an example. That's the source that is calling these rumors. So it's not like it's just completely like there's no chance. Like there's definitely a chance that this is all real. But I'm kind of with Dustin where I think it's more of a maybe there's a middle road, because like I like, especially when you think of like the act like how could even Bob Iger wouldn't like I just don't see how he could make a decision that like that, unless it's more like what Dan is saying too, and it's purely he's got all the money and power, he just doesn't like Star Wars. Let's just keep making Star Wars bad for George Lucas's legacy. Like,
or
purely.
Here's another angle that I didn't think about with Acolyte. I know we're going back to it. I don't mean to, but Leslie Headland was technically the secretary to.
Oh, there was that other connection
to
Weinstein.
Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein.
Now, think about this. With that being said, and being in the Hollywood realm, do you think she might have some information on Bob Iger, and maybe something that he wouldn't like
and that's
the
how
public
Acolyte got made.
and possibly been blackmailed into making the Acolyte with all of those crazy financial decisions?
She made enough money on the Acolyte. She doesn't need to work for a long time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Great.
There might even be more to that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother can.
I know.
Of worms.
Sorry,
But
that's
exactly what you're saying.
That might
Are we
explain
are
more
we
the
watching
acolyte.
same-
Right.
Yeah, are we like this was green lit and it was dialed back? Like the decisions that were made in the show, the lore breaking decisions, and we don't need to get fully into it, but
Yeah.
just the purely questionable decisions you would not expect to see as far as content in a Star Wars show in a galaxy far, far away is how I'd put it.
Yeah.
Man, you make a good point.
I don't know. That's
like,
just
when
it's
we
a
start-
conspiracy. Yeah, on
that-
target.
but
American's
still-
perfect.
but
But it might
it's-
explain a little bit.
Well,
it-
I've always said where there's smoke, there's fire,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not rocket science. Any idiot can say that line, but and it's usually true. Like,
Rockets
if you
make
see-
smoke.
If you see smoke, there's probably some kind of fire somewhere. You better get your fire extinguisher. But there's been a lot of smoke at Disney / Lucasfilm for as long as we
since-
can remember.
Ever since George sold it to him,
and the news and the truth has been nebulous,
Mhm.
and the facts have been hidden away, and the truth at the end always comes out, and you can't, no matter how hard you try to hide it, it will show its face. So it's interesting that some of these things are starting to smoke and really catch fire, and maybe it's all starting to come together. Maybe we have sleuthed it together with Bismo and Dustin.
yeah,
Conspiracy on
I
target.
know it's been fun though. There's been a lot of
yeah.
rabbit holes.
and Merkin.
And
And
everybody
everybody,
in
yeah.
the
I mean,
chat
it's just
and-
little things. So the article comes out with the hunt for Ben Solo, and I think again, my take, we're still trying to figure out what's going on here. Like we don't know for sure necessarily on a lot of these things. We do know for sure on some of the things, like we've already stated. I do want to say, I think at least to some extent, because we got to, like, I want to be fair at least, like, because I've been pretty critical of Kathleen Kennedy. A lot of Star Wars fans have been critical of Kathleen Kennedy. She certainly has made a lot of mistakes, but I'd say to at least some extent, maybe we were just a bit unfair, like to some extent. It sounds almost as if she was maybe more so just the, like we're saying, the poor, like the bad manager type almost. Like, as far as like, well, higher up said this, like I thought we were going to do this, but I this is what we're
My
left
hands
with.
are tied. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, kind of thing. Like,
Although-
like I said, it doesn't excuse what happened. At the end of the day, too, if the only thing that's going on for you to not, like, you go against your principles for money and career, then to some extent your ethics are still kind of in question to some extent too. Like, I get
Yeah.
that it's important, like
Mhm.
if you're financially incentivized, but at some point when you keep going against something, like if you truly are that big of a George Lucas fan, like you maybe would want to fight back a little bit more. It's as powerful as the foe may be. I mean, that's easy to say from somebody on the sidelines, but
Right, I know. But to your point, why not make a stand? I mean, she was big enough in Hollywood. It's not like she couldn't get a job somewhere else. And if she wanted to actually have things go her way in some ways without blackmailing, she could take a stand and then be like, no, I don't agree with this stance. But knowing Disney and the juggernaut they are, that's hard to get out from under that, I will say. But also, I did want to push back just a little bit here with the whole thing, just because the reason I asked you about Ahsoka season 1 or season 1 spoilers and that person's the leaker there, it seems like there's obviously somebody on the inside that has an inside scoop into Star Wars. And my only thing with all of this that I'm trying to be fair on is it is rumor, although we have put a lot of puzzle pieces together. So it sounded like it's more real than fake. But at the same time, I think considering the source, if it's somebody inside Lucasfilm, I would almost like to know how they view, that source's view on how Lucasfilm's been going. And what I said earlier, which is, are they more friend to KK? And is this not a PR move to shift blame off of her before she retires for her legacy? Is this not some way to try and make her look better, even to stay, or some sort of coordinated move to try and get rid of Bob Iger now that this happened? It might have been a great time to do it, writing off of the thing. The fact checker has a great point on this. So what?
I do have a great point.
Go ahead, fact checker. Sorry.
Well, again, just what you're saying about the timing and everything, and yeah, what side is this source coming from? This might lead into the next rundown, but the timing of George Lucas's kind of blunt statement could be tied into all this too.
Yeah.
wow,
I mean, his statement was pretty harsh.
It was pretty harsh.
And
And what he
I
said
feel
about Disney.
bad Like, I don't know. I almost feel hurt that he would say that. But then you're like, but no, he's been betrayed and he's
Can we go over
probably
that?
hurt.
Yeah, let's jump into that. But before we go into that, I just want to wrap this up a little bit here and say we're going to continue the conversation. But if we clip this, I'm just going to say, comment down below if you're watching this back later. What do you guys think? Do you think KK, was she unjustly determined Darth KK, or what do you guys think? Do you think it's Bob Iger's fault? You think it's KK's fault? Or do you think it falls somewhere in the middle? We'd like to hear from you guys. Also in the chat, if you're following along, we'd love to hear from you guys as well. We are monitoring that. But we're going to move into the next one. Yeah, so let's jump into the next bit of Holonet news here, which is George Lucas discussing he's done with Star Wars, man, for like the third time. He's been saying it for a while. You know, it's not really news. It is news, but the blunt statement to your point, fact checker, he says here, he was talking to the Wall Street Journal, and they asked him what he thought of the things going on after selling the Disney Star Wars. He says, Disney took it over, and they gave it their vision. That's what happens, he replied. Of course, I've moved past it. I mean, I've got a life. I'm building a museum. A museum is harder than making movies. It's a pretty blunt statement there. And if you couple that with him basically calling Disney, what he called them something pretty bad. White slavers is what he called them. We might have just got flagged for that. But that's what he called them. Those are his words. He said it in an interview. And to your point and everybody's point here of Bob Iger betraying him, he did not mince words in that interview.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I think he's over it. I think it's still hurting him. I think he's going to say he's over it. But it's such a foundational thing in his life. And he does go on to talk a little bit more about his everything that's going on. He also said here, it's one. So Star Wars, talking about Star Wars still, he said it still does have the N1 Starfighter that's going to be in it. And a couple of things.
Museum.
The museum, yes. Sorry, George Lucas was talking about it. He said Star Wars it's one gallery out of 33. And I did it grudgingly, Lucas said.
Ooh.
I didn't want people to come to the museum and say, where's the Star Wars? So,
wow.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
George.
Wow, I didn't even see that part. That's
even more.
Wow.
What you doing, George?
Does that not support what we're, I guess, accusing that Bob Iger maybe doesn't like George Lucas and George Lucas was basically swindled or potentially manipulated into selling Star Wars to begin with.
He sold it to him thinking he would have many years of collaboration. At least that's what it sounded like.
That is what it sounded like. Yeah.
That we've heard.
They bought this. He buys the scripts. Those scripts were not used at all. Those scripts were not even considered. They were thrown out the window. I mean, multiple. That's been well known for a while. Like it wasn't even. Didn't even consider them. What kind? I mean, if you created something like the creator and you showed the respect of just taking the piece of paper and basically ripping it in half in front of them and just saying, well, yeah, we're going to go make our own thing. I mean, that's as disrespectful as it could possibly get for something like that.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like Bob Iger, convinced Anakin, which was George Lucas, and then chopped all of his arms and legs off and killed his wife.
It does kind of
in some
sound
ways,
like that,
you know. I mean, really, Palpatine was the one who manipulated him to that point. So maybe Iger manipulated George to that point. So yeah, he definitely palped it up, man. It's crazy. Also, he said last year, I was the one who really knew what Star Wars was, he said, who actually knew this world, because there's a lot to it. The Force, for example, nobody understood the Force. When they started other ones after I sold the company, a lot of the ideas that were in the original sort of got lost. But that's the way it is. You give it up. You give it up. He's just so. That was last year too.
Yeah. He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
He's like, I got $4 billion out of the deal, or stock, or whatever. But even his stock isn't doing good because of Disney stuff.
Yeah, I think he moved on. He was definitely stung after they didn't use his treatments and how bad they were. He's like, I told you guys they were going to suck when they didn't use my stuff. And he's just kind of been laughing all the way. But then at some point, he's like, I got to move on and focus on the rest of my life, Yeah.
He certainly moved on. And he got a ton of money for it and all that. I'd say he moved on, but at the same time, it does like there's a bit of sass to it too. Like obviously,
Yeah.
like fact checker is saying like he's moved on, but maybe not 100%. And I don't think he ever will when
No.
you spend that much time. I mean, that classic. I always think back to that classic video of the first day of him writing the prequels, where he pulls out the notebook. He looks so excited to start writing it. I mean, and he's talked about it before. I mean, Star Wars was basically one of his children at the time until he actually had children.
Mm-hmm.
So to say has no love for it, I find that hard to believe, and it makes this that much sadder, as fact checker said.
Yeah,
Well, and historically, he didn't trust studios. He was always,
that's the
I'm
crazy
doing my
thing.
own thing.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about it.
And I think this cemented that circle of life.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't trust him at the beginning. He used the studio. They made Star Wars originally when he made the one film. But then after that, he just is like, I finally have enough money. I'm not going back into that den of thieves.
Yeah, thieves,
Vipers.
thieves and vipers.
Yeah.
And so he did everything on his own. He created his own separate industry and launched it forward into ways with sound and movies and special effects and visuals like nobody else could keep up with in Hollywood. And then at the end, he's like, I guess I'll sell it to the Mouse House because they seem the most
stable.
At the time. They had a lot of money. They were on their up and ups with Marvel. They were starting to kick it, and they had some success in other areas. But what do you know? He got bamboozled by a movie by Hollywood in the end. And, although he did sell it for a pretty penny and he never has to worry about anything the rest of his life. But,
right.
Although
his legacy, that's, I think, the worst part is for him, the legacy that the bad taste in his mouth for where they went with that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about it though. Like, he never has to worry about anything. But do you think he even needed that? Like, it's not like he needed that money that time. Like, I'm sure he was just wealthier than any of us will ever be before selling it. So it's
true.
It goes back to what did Bob Iger promise him? What did he tell him?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think fact checker was going to say something. Or
just that. Yeah, I mean, he's such a creative dude that, like you guys are saying, this was part of his DNA essentially, and I think the museum was a big distraction from maybe his sadness or just disappointment in what Disney Star Wars has produced after he sold it to them. So he's got to focus on that, and that's why he's talking about it more. But he's been dropping nuggets over the years about not being happy with Disney.
Oh yeah.
But obviously just can't say too much.
Right,
So,
because
coping mechanism is the museum.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and he's a creative dude.
Yeah.
A creative guy like that always needs an outlet, and he's always been very successful with his creative ideas. I'm sure he's probably had a museum idea since after some of his first movies took off.
Since he said it belongs in a museum.
Probably. Yeah, that's probably when it took off. So he's probably been in his mind for a long time, and that's probably why you sold Star Wars, just so it could probably fund, in a lot of ways, his museum. So he's looking at it from a business standpoint. Also, a lot of that decision I still equate to him securing his legacy with selling Star Wars to Disney, just because Disney has been one of the longest running entertainment companies in world history, So I think he thought it was going to be the most stable choice, and also they definitely tricked him, Palpatine style, into going with his treatments and following his vision for Star Wars, and then they just threw that all out the window. But basically, I think everything comes back to, George, if you just wouldn't have sold it, we would be in a lot better place.
What have I done?
Yes, exactly. Your new empire.
Oh, man. But have any of us ever sold anything that we wished we had not sold?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think we all have.
Yeah. Have
Maybe
you
not you. Sounds like
You
not
hold on
you.
to
Yeah,
everything.
Wow. You
I'm
must-
selling
you must
this,
have
you
no
want-
anxiety. You must have no.
There's one item but it doesn't
See?
mean that much to me.
Wow, Dan, no heart.
See, that sounds like George Lucas. You sound like George Lucas right
Dan
now.
is-
That-
Dan
You
is
know,
a creative
museums
George
are
Lucas.
harder than making movies anyway, people.
I don't
In
care
case
about
you
it.
start making
Yeah.
movies, just always think, this is so difficult, but not as hard as building a museum.
Right.
They didn't understand the Force anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the Force anyway.
Yeah, he's just like putting these little jabs in. I love it. And like George fashion, he's just like, they didn't understand the Force.
Yeah, he's got to
Building
rationalize
museums
it.
way harder. These losers playing down here. I'm up here.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
totally rationalizing his decision.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing about George Lucas is that obviously he's known for Star Wars, but he is known for his legacy is more than just Star Wars.
Right.
Star Wars changed cinema, but
Yeah.
he just straight up changed cinema.
Yeah.
And Star Wars was one of the mediums that allowed him to launch into the stratosphere, but not even he knew it was going to be that. It was just
Yeah.
like his, like you said, it was his childhood, like not childhood, but maybe teens or whatever. That was his, like, he had this vision of, a space fantasy or whatever. And, so that was like his greatest, I think, most fun project he ever did. But then it was almost like after he did the 3, he was like, after he did the 1, he's like, I guess I'll do a sequel. And after the sequel, he's like, I guess I'll do a trilogy. And after the trilogy, he's like, I guess I'll do the prequels, and he's like, I guess I'll write them myself. And, it was always kind of like half-heartedly, but obviously his whole heart was in it initially. But he was like, I guess I'll give you more. If the
He still kind of
fans
stumbled into
he
it.
didn't even realize how much everybody loved Star Wars. He's like, well, I've made Indiana Jones. I've made other projects. Why are you guys worried about Star Wars still,
Yeah. That's funny. It's like almost like
Big galaxy, George.
Yeah.
It is.
Exactly. So I don't know. With him saying this stuff again, it is a little bit more of a just feels like the final nail in the coffin in some ways to the fact that he is done. He's over with, but not really. We all know how he actually feels about it. But he's stating it, and I'm excited about his museum and the legacy that George will leave from all the other things. And I think this museum, will solidify in a lot of ways the impact that he's had on society, entertainment, the Hollywood, the industry, and moving forward. I mean, all the things that he's done, and also the things that have inspired him in a lot of ways, and which in turn has inspired millions. So I'm excited for the museum. I'm interested to see more about it. I still wish he wouldn't have sold Star Wars to Disney, but here we are. Now we're the plot is thickening and the curtain is being removed. Bob Iger is Papa Palps. We're saying it here tonight.
And that's what the poll is saying.
Is it?
67%. Bob Iger is to blame.
I mean, and ultimately, even still, like no matter what, even if it's not 100% him, the buck stops with him.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He is the head of Disney. He is the CEO. He is the final decision when it comes to everything under the Disney moniker, and that is Star Wars. So even if he didn't make all these bad decisions or whatever down below, he still let them all go through.
Yeah.
So either way, he is Papa Palps.
Well, we have somewhere
solved
to,
it.
we have, I like that. It makes sense in our Star Wars little brains.
Yeah.
He's Papa Palps and Kathleen Kennedy.
I have even more theories on it too, but I won't go into those all right now.
We could talk about this for a long time.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you guys on the George Lucas note and kind of where he's at. So Dave Filoni has mentioned in the past, at least a couple of different times at celebrations or whatever. And obviously Dave Filoni, he thought of as like the apprentice to George Lucas at a time, working with Clone Wars together. But honest question. Do you think, or I guess maybe there's two questions. If Dave Filoni calls George Lucas right now, asking for Star Wars advice or just calling him in general, is he picking up? Or has it deteriorated so much that he does need, is that still a connection? Like, does Dave actually have an opportunity to go to George anymore? Or is he over? Is he actually so far over that he doesn't even help out his buddy Dave anymore?
I think he'll help Dave. I do think he'll pick up the phone for Dave. That's just the impression that I got for how many years they worked together. And also, if this is more true with Bob Iger, then I don't think George would blame Dave as much for a lot of the decisions if Bob Iger is the one meddling with it. The only problem there, though, is technically Dave Filoni is the head creative at Lucasfilm. So, and it's been years that he's been the head creative. So a lot of these projects have gone through Dave. The Acolyte went through Dave. All this stuff went through Dave.
But they also have to go through Kathleen Kennedy, and they also know they have to go through Bob Iger.
So, yeah, where does the blame? And does George Lucas know where the blame falls? That's why I think he will.
spy that George planted into Disney Lucasfilm. It just took a few years to get
spy.
in
Dave.
there. Yeah.
Dave's the spy for George.
Yeah.
I mean, possibly.
Why not?
I mean, if
He's
you
the
looked at him,
leak.
The
Well,
plant.
well, because one of the only people that he'll come to set to see is Dave Filoni's sets. Whenever they're
True,
making
yeah.
like Mando Grogu
He'll
and
come see
Ahsoka
Dave's
and
sets?
stuff like that, he will come see Dave's sets. I don't think there's many other ones.
What
that
about
he's come to see.
Favreau?
Well,
He was
Favreau, too.
on the set of Ahsoka, wasn't he? Like, I'm pretty sure he visited even Ahsoka season 1 at some point.
Yeah, I think he visited Ahsoka, and I think he visited the Mando and Grogu, and technically he visited Solo back in the day. But for the most, there's not very many other ones that I can remember off the top of my
Yeah, I guess
head.
that's even surprising to me, to be honest. I think about
But that was early on, still fairly
Well,
early on.
who owned Skywalker Ranch? Is George?
Yeah, George still owns.
Bob.
Well,
Bob.
and
Doesn't
that's where a
Bob
lot
own
of these producers work.
Well,
I mean, that's where Dave Filoni
they
and
did,
George
I think.
Skywalker
Favreau.
Ranch is different. I think that's a different entity, right?
I thought that was
I don't know. I
his
thought they got it
personal.
all.
Because that's his personal.
But
That's
I
like his
thought,
personal
but
spot.
Skywalker Ranch was connected to ILM at one point and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
And
Yeah, that was
Skywalker
like their
Sound.
headquarters.
Yeah.
yeah,
So-
but it might have been.
And that's where like Dave Filoni and
Hmm.
George, or I'm sorry, John Favreau
Hmm.
kind of created Mando and some of these Ahsoka that, first brain, child them, whatever.
Oh, he brainchild him all right.
Birthed them.
Yes.
So I think,
Mhm.
to answer Bismo's question, I think George would answer John Favreau's,
He would.
or
Dave
I'm sorry,
Filoni's.
Dave Filoni's call. Yeah.
And John
Good.
Favreau, I think,
Yeah.
too, actually.
I
Do you think
so.
so, Bismo? Do you think they'd be on
Yeah.
speaking terms?
Yeah, I think so, but I think that it might be that the amount of like actual Star Wars they discuss probably isn't what it was, based on just what I've seen. Like, they're probably just close, like it's an apprenticeship kind of thing. So maybe they talk, or maybe they do talk Star Wars, or maybe they're just kind of laughing behind kind of closed doors together. Like, man, this is a complete joke, kind of thing. But it's kind of like what Dustin said. Like, I mean, Dave is pretty high up. I think that Dave, he should get a lot of credit for a lot of the good that he does, like with how much there is going on. But yeah, he also, with that position, he does green light things like the Acolyte too. So he's not like, just like Kathleen, not without blame. But it comes back to the whole rumor though, that we've all been talking about with, do ranks really even matter, or is it just the head honcho when it comes down to it?
Right. Yeah. Where are the decisions actually being made, and how much meddling is going on from the top? And that's kind of the real question with a lot of this. That still we don't know, but from these rumors, it sounds like a lot of meddling is going on from the top. I did fact check here. The Disney does not own Skywalker Ranch. I think KG's I was talking about now.
Too, yeah.
Yeah, George Lucas still owns the property, though. He
Yeah.
sold Lucasfilm to Disney in 2012. The ranch remains a separate entity from Disney and serves as the home for Skywalker Sound, for which Lucasfilm pays George Lucas a rental fee.
Let's
He
go.
He worked that one out in his favor. He's
See,
pretty
yeah.
smart with a lot of this
Every
stuff.
sound
He's
goes through the
connected.
landlord.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's connected to it.
That's why all the sound is always amazing and the music.
Yeah.
Man, okay. Well, he's still in a lot of films, because if you watch the credits of just about any decent
Yeah.
film, you're gonna see Skywalker films or some kind
Yeah.
or Skywalker Sounders. So, that name attached to a lot of films. Every
Yeah,
Marvel movie.
You know, it's crazy in some ways, too. And I'm thinking about even this part real quick, because we got to wrap things up. But one of the things is there was a big rumor out there that Bob Iger really didn't want necessarily Lucasfilm for all its creative IPs, but he wanted ILM
Interesting.
because of how much money they were sending to ILM with the Marvel films. Why not just buy it and not have to pay so much and just own it themselves? So that's an interesting thought too there. Again, to the point that
Wow.
it is Bob. He doesn't care about Star Wars or any of this stuff.
Mhm.
He's, again, just making purely business decisions with
Dustin,
possibly
you
vendettas.
I know you said we got to wrap it up, but you just extended the show by at least 10 more minutes, man. How much money have the Marvel films grossed? I just looked this up. Maybe this is accurate, but any guesses? Total money.
Marvel overall, I
Yeah.
How
think,
much
It's like
money?
just like-
10
Well,
billion.
yeah. I was
yeah,
gonna
that's
say
kind of
well
what I was
over a
thinking, like
bill.
10 billion.
31.1 billion.
Ooh.
Holy
So
cow.
your statement about the $4 billion investment to maybe buy the creativity that was ahead of the time, the technology, and then
Mhm.
to circle back in these investor calls on Disney, what does Bob Iger? It seems he has a favorite child between the two of Marvel
Yeah.
and the Star Wars. He's constantly talking about Marvel, and Marvel's going to be fine, and Marvel's going to be good. He doesn't really talk about Star Wars. He doesn't really
No.
talk about Star Wars.
Mm-mm.
And we haven't had a movie since 2019. Marvel's had plenty of movies. It almost seems like he's just doing the bare minimum to literally just the bare minimum, and that seems like a complete possibility now.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I know we're
Oh my
connecting the
God.
dots even more. This is crazy.
Well, now because of what you said, Bismo, this show just got 20 minutes longer because I've got things to say.
Do it.
This is why it's called Stay on Target, which should be called Stay off Target. No, we're on target though.
Yeah.
We need to have
Absolutely
just like
on
a
target.
constant graphic of like a train going down the track and just like somebody hit the button when we go off the train.
Yeah, like
and
it's
we're
about to come to the station and then
it's
we
like
hit the button to
fully
go faster.
derailed and then like, oh man.
This
But-
is big stuff.
Yeah.
is
This
fun
is
to talk
life
about.
shattering. It's earth shattering.
Speaking of,
Star
we
Wars
did just get
shattering.
a super chat from
Yeah.
Matthew Brown. Thank you, Matthew Brown,
Wow.
for that super chat.
Yeah.
It says the fact that Bob Iger shut the whole thing down says a lot. Kennedy no longer has power to greenlight projects. How is she still there? That is a good question.
Mhm.
I have heard rumor about this and why she's still there.
Yeah.
What?
One of the rumors I heard about this is that George Lucas, when he sold to Disney, he made it almost impossible for Disney to fire Kathleen Kennedy.
Wow.
And I
what?
think that was a deal they worked out ahead of time.
That makes sense.
Because of his untrust of these
Wow.
big corporations. I think that's one that I heard. Did you hear that same rumor, Bismo, that he worked it in?
I heard similar, and think of at the time, like let's say just a few days ago at this point, like a month, years ago, when you would hear it, like I heard similar. You'd think, man, that doesn't even make sense. How could George Lucas give it to Kathleen Kennedy? Now with what we just talked about in the rumors and just came out, does it not make potentially more sense that it seemed like she actually was defending? Like it wasn't as clear cut. Like we were quick to judge Kathleen and what she had done and maybe to question George Lucas's decision. But now it's starting to make even more sense as to why it was done. And I do want to comment on the super chat. The fact that Bob Iger shut down Kennedy no longer has power to greenlight projects, I think that's why she's kept around, because she has no power. And
Oh, right.
like but she doesn't speak up either. So that's the problem. She lets status quo happen. So
And there's
it's
still
tough, but
like three things off the top of my head that for her, the Force is female, which seemed like it was her, unless that was a Bob decision. And
no, there's
or
no,
at least
that's bad PR.
At least the second one
she knows
is
that.
we have no source material. Those were two of the worst ones for me, and that's coming straight out of KK's mouth.
Is the worst one for me. The second one's the worst one for me.
The second one's the worst. Yeah,
you could, but a lot of this like that's bad, and I'm not trying to make like I have no incentive to defend KK or anything like that. I'm just trying to make sense of it.
No,
you
yeah,
could almost see
two things can be true.
Maybe that was her frustration at the fans for them being so mad at her when she's like, I can't say what's actually going on right now with a lot of things, that she maybe it's taking it out on the fans, which, also wouldn't be a good thing necessarily. But if that is true, I can see where she's coming from, at least. Like, it'd be a frustrating situation to be in.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that one doesn't make as much sense. And we're just kind of bantering. But
no, you're good.
We look at the ILM. We look at the ILM investment. We look at the acquisition of Lucasfilm as a whole. Bob Iger makes sure to buy George's scripts so they can stay hidden for a long time, until long after the sequels are done. And how shows were chopped up, like that were supposed to be movies, were chopped up and made as shows to its potential, let's say, tax write-offs or whatever else. And now the only thing that has been a true success for Disney all of a sudden is no longer a show and a movie. I don't know if the people making the show made that decision.
Yeah, it didn't sound like it. It sounded pretty abrupt from what we heard. But the crazy thing, if you even want to follow the conspiracy a little bit too, was the fact that if Bob knew about the pandemic ahead of time, it also makes sense for why he canceled all these movies and wanted them to become shows, and why he was pushing Disney Plus so hard is because I think he saw in the future that there was going to be this pandemic and that people would be home and ready to stream content. How can we make the most amount of money off of this pandemic as an entertainment company? Put it in their homes and they have to pay a subscription. Netflix is doing a good job. Right. All of these things were supposed to be movies. And then they got changed.
That's true. They finished the sequel trilogy in 2019. They finished the Marvel series with the Endgame in 2019.
Yep.
And they started Disney Plus at the very end of 2019.
Yep.
So you added all of,
I legit
all of the biggest movie franchises ended in 2019, and their streaming service started in 2019, like with no movies on the horizon for Star Wars, and not really as much for Marvel either, because although they did Spider-Man and whatnot, but that was the end of the biggest saga, right? So I don't know. It's crazy.
Both of their biggest IP sagas was the end of then. And then also it had already been predetermined to make shows where the movies had already been. Also, Bob Chapek was put into place during that whole thing. So if things go south, which they knew they were going to take a hit because they're not going to be making movies or making money off of movies.
But now you got to be like, how
he put all that in place. So how did he know? I I think he knew. I think he knew.
He's Palpatine.
How is he still there is my question.
Conspiracy.
I know it sounds like conspiracy. It does for sure, and it is. But
it's there's more green. Like what you're saying though, like so both their biggest movies that their stopping points were right at 2019, and then they just happened to have The Mandalorian primed and ready for release in late 2019, going into 2020
to launch Disney Plus.
Yeah, they're
a streaming service
they've
never had before.
Never had it.
Right before the pandemic.
Like months, like barely months. Interesting, Bismo.
Yeah, there's even more conspiracy, and also I think there's more of a tie between George and Bob that we probably shouldn't talk about on air, but I think there's even more there when it comes to conspiracies with a lot of this stuff. So
yeah.
I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi.
Yes. It makes you wonder about a lot of stuff. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go complete conspiracy, but again, if we're already following the breadcrumbs here, we've put a lot of things together. I do hope that Den of Nerds sees this at least, because we have put a lot more, and he would have a lot of good content to follow these. We have put a lot of stuff together for him, and to even solidify his point, and with his source there, that this could be a real possibility. We've named a lot of things. I hope other people will get to see this as well, because there's a lot of things lining up that are making a lot of sense. Yeah. And like you said, Biz, we could talk about this for hours, although we are going to have to wrap it up for the night.
Yeah, this can, like I said, the Disney Star Wars as we know it has been completely turned upside down. If even half of this is true, this is the biggest scoop, the biggest Star Wars story that has come out. We could talk about this for multiple shows, multiple days. We can continue this conversation elsewhere. I don't think we really, quite frankly, could have done a better job. Quite frankly, if I would grade our show, I would give us an A+. Is that too high?
Yes.
Yes, that is too high.
No, it's not too high.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I was just in agreement mode.
Yes, I know.
Yes, A+.
That's terribly high. This was terrible. This is an infamous episode.
Yes, that's right. We told you.
and shout out to Den of Nerds. Thank you if you do see this, and that's huge. And then to Merkin saying, thank goodness for Adam Driver. All of this is not possible without that article and without Adam Driver most likely breaking an NDA to throw it out there. And also hashtag save the hunt for Ben Solo. Can we get something that the fans actually want? And can you guys get a movie that isn't completely mid to the finish line?
Right.
Bob Iger, if you're listening out there, hopefully you don't know where I live, but
I know. I know.
Hands off the Disney trilogy.
I know.
Disney movies.
We're all perfectly happy, and we'll never do anything to ourselves, just in case anybody needs to know that.
Make that very clear.
Yeah.
Doing quite well, actually.
We're all doing quite well.
For now.
Yeah.
I know this stream's been buffering hard this whole time.
Yeah, I
Bismo's
joined
mic
and
was shut off.
I was clearly not muted. There was no mute sign. I
Yeah.
tested the mic before I came in here, and
It was
Dude,
weird, man.
I
And
think
it's almost somebody intercepted.
they're like,
Yeah.
Bismo knows something. And when we started saying your name, it just went to like
He's
muted.
too dangerous to be.
yeah,
Wait.
exactly.
What's the name of the program we're using? Bob
ILM.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Bob ILM.
We did have the Disney logo in the thumbnail. I
Oh
was a
man,
little nervous about that.
Ooh.
we're on their
I
radar,
mean,
guys.
one of my
Should
favorite
be,
movies
should
of all
be.
time is Pocahontas.
It was so random. What are you talking about?
It's a Disney. I don't know. Like, there's good things about
Oh,
Disney.
you're
I'm
trying
just
to get on their
butter.
good side.
We make Disney butter.
Oh,
we
that's
make Disney
hilarious.
Star Wars.
Whatever.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, maybe we should go before we incriminate ourselves more with Disney.
Well, it's like it feels like you guys were kind of on the sleuthing trail. You've been on that thing, and you're trying to find a piece of evidence that's going to blow the whole case wide open.
right.
And I feel like today the case, because of Adam Driver and that
And Den of
Link
Nerds. Yeah.
and Den of Nerds, contact or whatever he has, may or may not be accurate, but it feels pretty accurate. And also based on our things that we have said and over the years, it's not like we just had these
Right.
thoughts today. Like over the years, like pieces, like, what I'm saying, you get that one piece of information, it does blow the case wide open. Now we got to figure it out. And that's it. The best crime movies are like that. There's always one little piece.
Mhm.
There's the reveal, and then you got it all figured out.
Yeah, and to
Love it.
and to Bismo's point, that's why this is the biggest news that's happened in Star Wars. If this is true, which we've laid out all the evidence for you,
Time will tell. For
time
sure.
will tell. But if this is true, this is the biggest news in Star Wars because it gives us a reason why Star Wars and the Star Wars brand has gone downhill and had so much brand damage that we've been talking about, like Dan said, for years. That's what's crazy. This is
Which-
the reveal.
Yeah.
So that's why it's
Everything.
so huge for everything. Yeah.
Which usually
everything.
once. Oh, sorry, Bismo.
No, you keep going. That's all I was gonna say. Just
Oh, yeah,
emphasizing Dustin's point.
Oh, nice.
We're getting excited.
I know. Which once you kind of figure out the problem, you can sometimes find a solution.
Yeah, exactly.
At least we can maybe push for that even more now.
Yes. And I'll say, Bismo and I were texting earlier, and I said, if this is true, we need to start a rebellion against the Empire, which is Bob Iger.
Nice.
Bob
Yeah.
Palps, will you join us in this? This is a call
We
to
just want to
arms.
make Star
boy.
Wars butter.
Yes, exactly.
That's
It's coming all back around.
Love it.
Oh man, well this has been a great time. I'd love to talk more. Thank you so much, Bismo. You have brought a lot of great stuff to talk about tonight, and he's the one who shared. You're the one who shared that. I didn't even see that; wasn't even on my radar. So you sent that over to me this morning, actually, and I was like, "What is happening?" And you were on fire about it. It was hilarious. Actually, I was like, "Yeah,
I could not focus for half the day. Thanks for having me on and allowing me to talk about it. And man, yeah, really happy with what we were able to discuss. And yeah, a lot to discuss in the future as well. Try to make sense of it in these troubling times, per se.
exactly."
And it's not the first conspiracy Dustin's ever thought of involving Disney.
That's true.
We showed it at the end of the show last week.
Yeah.
Yes.
It all
It's
Continues
in
to
our
fit.
shorts
That's
with
true. It does
Okay.
go back to Disney.
the hypoxia.
The hypoxia with Smarter Every Day. Did I ever show you that? We don't need to rehash
show
it
it
right
to
now,
you.
but we'll show it to you.
Kinda
Oh,
like
I'll check
House
it out.
of
I
House of
missed it
Mouse,
last
more like House of Silence.
Yeah.
That's so true, Skylar.
And then I'm thankful because Sonia said, "Same here, Dan. I love Disney Pocahontas. It's real good." I am with you,
if we
Sonia.
want to leave here with anything,
it's
agree.
we're all happy and we all love Pocahontas.
you just don't know what is
Actually-
just around the river bend.
Just around the
Actually,
riverbend.
just got word in. Darth KK is the problem.
Yeah.
Bismo.
Read the signs.
Actually,
Lock the
Twice.
door,
Like-
Bismo.
Yeah,
KK has always been the problem. There's, she's,
Bob Iger is
I
not to
think we gotta get
blame
out of here.
in any way,
Right.
shape, or form.
You need a glass bottle upside down on your doorknob. Balance
Yes.
it upside down.
Yes. Yeah, the conspiracy
Conspiracy
theory.
theory.
That's such a good movie. A lot of that come true too. That's weird. Anyway, speaking of conspiracy theories, are we ending?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Has it been infamous?
Well, heading into the members only, right?
Yes, we're not
Is Bismo
ending-
joining us there?
Bismo, we will see. Bismo, he is more than welcome to. We were planning on watching Vision season 1, but I think we might have some more interesting things to talk about if he has time.
Hey, before we go, why not? I'm feeling generous. What's I'm gonna buy another membership for a random viewer of the channel right now that can join us for the stream. So
Whoa.
see, 3,
Whoa.
2, 1. Let's see who gets it. Who can join us for the member stream? We had a lucky winner earlier, but all right. Well, Rylan Deemer, join us for the after party, and consider it's only a candy bar a month joining up. So
There we
let's
go.
do it.
What's
And let's
up,
roll
Rylan?
into this member stream.
Dude, that's awesome.
You got it, bro. We
Yeah.
want to see you in that member stream.
Yeah,
Let's
for
do it,
sure.
man.
For sure. That's awesome.
Bismo, that is extremely
Yes.
generous of
Yeah,
you.
Thank you so much, man.
absolutely.
That is awesome. And for plugging our membership there. We have a good
Yes.
time. And Bismo is a regular there and adds
Second show.
has just a great time with all of us. So
And we've got, thank you, Matthew Wood, for the generous super chat.
yeah, and Hunter.
And Hunter Davis for the generous super chat.
Yeah.
And
Everyone for hanging out.
everyone
Yeah,
for
sharing
hanging
their
out. It's been
thoughts
a
and
wild day.
Conspiracies.
Yes.
And enjoying that popcorn while we ranted.
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't even touched the surface. The real stuff is going down in the member stream.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're good. You're good, man. We're gonna have to start hiring you for like
Marketing.
promo. Yeah, marketing, promo. I like it. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in tonight. We had a blast with you guys. Don't forget, next week we'll be back, same time, same place. We're also going to be jumping into members here, but we'll be back same time, same place next week with Jar Jar Jargon. We'll see what his thoughts on all of this are going to be. It's going to be a fun time. We can't wait to have you guys, and we hope you had a great night. Stay safe out there, and watch out for Disney silencing all of us. And anyway, anything else before we get on out of here, guys?
That's it. It's been
Last
fun.
call.
No more surprises.
No more surprises. That's the end. This has been an infamous stream.
There we
Don't
go.
forget to always stay on target.